Hey there, Cougar Academy, and welcome to lesson 5.6. Today's lesson, how do you write polynomial functions? So we are going to be writing a function that passes through each of the given zeros. Okay, I promise today's stuff's a little easier than the other stuff, still more straightforward than factoring and all that craziness. But we'll get through it, and as always, practice will make perfect. So let's take a look at number one here. We have a few things to notice first by going on number one. So the first thing is, so each of these represents a coordinate point. This is going to be the 0, 5, 0, okay? This is representing the point 0, negative 5, 0, and this one is representing 2 plus 2 roots of 2. That's not too pretty, but that's just a number, 0. Now, there's actually a hidden 0 that they didn't list here. And this is our first little trick for today. This is part of a theorem known as the Conjugate Theorem. And basically, any time that you see a square root factor, you have a freebie factor that is always the opposite in between. So we already have 2 minus 2 roots of 2. So it's kind of a freebie that we always have the plus and minus as far as roots are considered. Okay, the same for imaginary. So conjugate theorem, basically, if you have a square root factor, you always have its opposite. Okay, now what that means then is we would also have the point 2 minus 2 roots of 2, 0. Okay, now a bit more to do here, but that is going to be very important here. So those are the points, and what we want to do is go from points to factors. And to go from points to factors, you're simply going to just replace it and have x minus 5. Okay, so you're just going to take x minus that particular number. It gets a little tricky with negatives because this would be x minus negative 5, which I know you're probably like, oh, that's going to be plus. But let's just continue. X minus 2 plus 2 roots of 2. And then this last one, the freebie, x minus 2, 2 parenthesis there, minus 2 roots of 2. Okay, and I promise it'll come out to be nice in the end. I know we have some nastiness right now. Okay, let's just clean this up a little bit. So really that's x minus 5, and then this is really x plus 5. These other bits are x minus 2 minus 2 roots of 2, because you distribute that negative. And here we have x minus 2 plus 2 roots of 2. Okay, once you have that, then it's just going to be multiplying. Now, let's tackle this nasty multiplication. I know it looks scary, but in the end, it's going to come out to be okay. Okay, just take a deep breath, and it'll be all right. So we do have to do some tricky multiplication here, but again, take it slow. So if we focus on x times x, that's going to be x squared. And then we'll take x times negative 2, negative 2x. And then the roots. That's going to be plus 2x root of 2. All right, let's take a look at the middle term. So negative 2 times x is, again, another negative 2x. And please just take your time. Negative 2 times negative 2, that's going to be a plus 4. I'm going to tack that in over there. And then negative 2 plus 2 roots of 2 is negative 4 roots of 2. And our last bit of multiplication, negative 2 roots of 2 times x, that's going to be minus 2x roots of 2. and then times negative 2 is going to be plus 4 roots of 2. So notice how I'm trying to line things up here that come out to be similar factors, which is going to be nice. And at the end, negative 2 roots of 2 times positive 2 roots of 2 is minus 4 roots of 4. Remember, root of 2 times root of 2 would be root of 4. So some magic is going to happen here. I know it looks nasty, but just trust what's going to happen here. X squared, there's no other terms to add to that. So I'm just going to add together these like terms. Negative 2x is negative 4x. How nice. So these radicals cancel, and these radicals cancel. So that's great. Also to note, negative 4 roots of 4, that's negative 4 times 2, which means it's negative 8. So kind of working all over the place here. And then 4 minus 8 is going to be negative 4. So all that multiplication really just got us there. But it looks a lot cleaner than those radicals. Now, let's go back and let's focus on this. We have a difference of squares, or we have essentially what's going to become a difference of squares. We have these conjugates. So using FOIL would be x squared minus 5x plus 5x minus 25, or x squared minus 25. And then we just have one last bit of multiplication to do, and that's going to be just a binomial times a trinomial with that multiplication. So it's all about multiplication here. X squared times x is x to the 4th. Going to the next term, minus 4x to the 3rd, to the next, minus 4x squared. Okay, minus 25x squared, and then plus 100x, and then plus 100. And lastly, we're just going to finish this up, and that means this equation that will go through those zeros would be of the form y equals, throw that in there, x to the 4th minus 4x squared to the 3rd, sorry. X squareds are going to be minus 29x squared plus 100x, and then plus 100. Whew, I know you're like, that wasn't much easier, but it was just multiplication, and I'm guessing this was the only scary part. But practice will make perfect. So what we just made was an equation that goes through all those points. If you're ever curious, we could type that into our calculator, and if we type in x to the 4th minus 4x to the 3rd and subtract 29x squared plus 100 x plus 100, what you'll see if you hit graph, let me make sure my window's regular, is, hey, there it is going through 5, or negative 5. Here, this is actually negative 2 roots, or 2 roots of negative 2. And then there's our other two zeros. So we just made that formula, and it goes through all those points, okay? So that's a good way to kind of check to see what's going on. All right? Great job with that one. I know it was a little bit of a headache. We'll do a little bit more practice here, okay? So this next one, number 2. Negative 4 mult 2? What? And 1 plus roots of 2. So this particular case means that we actually go through negative 4 twice. That's what multiplicity means. It means we go through it twice. So we technically have the factor x minus negative 4, and we have two of them, x minus negative 4. Here, hey, we have our root, so that means we have a freebie, 1 minus root of 2. So we got our freebie root with our conjugate theorem. So our other factors would be x minus 1 plus root of 2, and x minus 1 minus root of 2. Okay, let's rewrite these. That's simply going to be x plus 4 and x plus 4. And over here, this is going to be x minus 1 minus root of 2 and x minus 1 plus roots of 2. From here, it's all going to be the same. So we really are at the same point, which means we need to multiply. Let's tackle this nasty stuff first, okay? X times x is x squared. Minus x plus x roots of 2. Now again, things should happen. Things should cancel out, which is nice. Negative 1 times x is negative x again. Negative 1 times negative 1 is going to be plus 1. Negative 1 times root of 2, negative roots of 2. Lastly, minus x roots of 2. So see, those are going to cancel. Minus root or plus root of 2. So hey, those are going to cancel. And then lastly, root of 2 times root of 2 is going to be minus root of 4. So I'm going to rewrite that as a 2. We already have a 1, and we have the rest to combine. So that's going to be x squared minus 2x minus 1. That's what all that came out to be. Okay, here this is just FOIL, so x squared plus 8x essentially. I skipped the outer and inner parts, but that's what it would be. And then we just have some triple multiplication, trinomial times trinomial, to take care of. Okay, again, take your time. It's just tedious, and it's practice with multiplication. We're nearing the end of the chapter, so all of our skills are starting to be used at once. 8x times x squared minus 16x squared and minus 8x. And I am just doing all this distributing, so bear with me, check my work as I go through, and then minus 16. Combine our like terms, and then we'll have our y equals x to the fourth. Let's check out x to the thirds. Here's negative 2 and 8, and there's another, no, that's a squared. So no others, so plus 6x to the third. Let's check out our squareds. Negative 16, there's negative 17. Hey, those squareds cancel, so just minus x squared. And our regular x terms, negative 40x. And then lastly, minus 16. Okay, so that is the equation. Now again, with these graphs, it is a good idea to just to check to see that we at least go through a few of the zeros here. Some of them we won't be able to see as readily, but x to the fourth, we'll just type it in our calculator, plus 6x to the third, and minus x squared, and minus 40x, because there's a lot of little areas where you could make mistakes. We'll take a look at the graph, and well, there it is going through 4, and remember it goes through negative 4 twice actually, so that's that there. And our other zeros, I'm guessing, would be those there. 1 plus the root of 2. That is about 2.4. So on our graph, we're looking at about 2.4. So it's looking pretty good there. And if you wanted to be certain, you can also try out 1 minus root of 2. And as a decimal, that is about negative 0.414, and that's about there as well. So that is the gist of those when you have a multiplicity. Okay, number 2 here. So number 2, this one's actually a little easier. So you want an easier one? We took care of the hard ones first. So our conjugates are already listed for us there. Those are the conjugates. Our first factor is going to be x minus 2. This one is going to be x minus root of 6, and this one x minus the negative root of 6. And so this one's actually going to come out to be a little nicer. And from here then, so I would recommend taking care of the radical stuff first. So it's going to be x squared, FOIL, minus x roots of 6 plus x roots of 6. And minus root of 36, which means, hey, it's just x squared minus 6. And all we got to do is multiply by this one here, x minus 2. So that's x to the third minus 6x minus 2x squared plus 12. If you want to write it in proper form, x to the third minus 2x squared, and then minus 6x plus 12. Okay, so that one, hey, that was a little easier one for you. Okay, and I know these notes have been a little longer, so thanks for bearing with me. I'll at least get you started with 4, okay? And it's an even easier one. It's got all these, so it just has x minus 1. That's your factor. Here's an interesting one, x minus 0 and x minus 4 minus negative 4. So our factors are essentially x minus 1, x minus 0, that's just an x, and then x plus 4. So really, you can take any step you'd like to multiply. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to distribute the x here. So make it x squared minus x. You only need to distribute it into 1. You can actually wait till the very end if you wanted. And then x plus 4. And I'll finish it up, why not? These last two are a little quicker. Plus 4x squared. And then minus x squared. And then last, plus 4x squared. Let me check that real quick. X times x, x to the third. Outers, 4x squared. Inners, minus x squared. Lasts, what am I doing? Trying to go too quick here. Minus 4x will get us there. So the grand finale, y equals x to the third plus 3x squared minus 4x. Alrighty, guys. So another lesson in the books. Make sure you practice those just to show these ahead. So 5, remember, you're going to have conjugates. 7, you'll have a conjugate. And multiplicity. So negative 4 multiplicity of 2. That means there's 2 of those factors. And that's about it. So practice those ones, and great stuff, guys.